Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Power Rangers Lightning Collection Battle Pack Wave 2. This is the In-Space Blue Ranger versus the In-Space Psycho Silver. But is it really versus? Because In-Space Psycho Silver wasn't really real Psycho Ranger. It was Zhane dressed as a Silver Psycho Ranger to confuse and throw off the other Psycho Rangers. So it's not really a Psycho Ranger, but it's still pretty cool. We've got a bunch of different colors. It's almost like Skittles at this point, but here's like the green Psycho Ranger, which isn't technically part of In Space, but he was created by Dark Spectre in the Mighty Morphin era, but that was in the comic books and not, you know, the TV show or anything like that. But I will show Silver Psycho, or Psycho Silver, excuse me, with all the other Psycho Rangers, and then we'll see all the In-Space Rangers that we have so far. At this point, we're only going to be missing the two, which is Cassie, the Pink Ranger, as well as Zhane, different Zhane in his Silver Ranger outfit, which we think is going to be exclusive to Walgreens. All signs point to it being a Walgreens exclusive. Has not released in the United States, hasn't even been announced or revealed, but in China it has been out. I have put in an order through this way to get it. Hopefully I will have that in the next couple of weeks. I'm pretty excited about that figure. Actually, I think it looks fantastic. But here we have Blue and Psycho Silver. So we have TJ and Zhane. Out of the looking from the package, all kinds of accessories, which is awesome, but that TJ head sculpt, it ain't it. So I think Hasbro dropped the ball again with another head sculpt, but as we get it out of the package, we'll see if it looks any better. So Psycho Silver, In-Space Blue, you notice that they actually did it wrong. There's like two blue squares on there, which doesn't really make sense, right? It should be a red square. Loops around. Here we have a 3D render of the two images together. Enough of that. Let's open it up. Okay, so here is the In-Space Blue Ranger and the Psycho Silver out of the package. So in the episode that Psycho Silver makes the appearance, I think it's called 5 of a Kind, where all the Rangers turned into Blue Rangers, and I don't know if it was a way to, I don't remember the episode, but I think it was a way to combat with the Psycho Rangers, because there was red, and there was black, and there was blue Psychos fighting against them, and then Blue like attacked red and black and were like, get out of here, Silver's mine. And there's all these things. Psycho Rangers are like psycho, right? They're all crazy, and they want to destroy the individual color ranger, you know, all of them, of course, but specifically they more so want whatever the corresponding color to them is. So it's just kind of this crazy thing. So that's why, you know, it makes sense for these two to be packed in together. It really does. But the TJ head sculpt, so when we zoom in, I want to talk about this a little bit, because I don't think this looks like TJ, but then if I'm looking at it upwards, looking down, then I can kind of see the resemblance. It's kind of a weird thing. The Zhane head, I actually think looks really good. I didn't think it was going to look so good at first, but looking at it now, I'm actually pretty impressed with it. But here we have the Psycho Rangers. So nothing new to this. I mean, we've seen the Psycho Rangers done multiple times. I mean, the blue got a release, red got a release, then we got the box set, then we got green, and then we have silver. And it's all the same, right? The weapon is going to be different, of course, so we actually have something. This will be the first civilian head that we have for a Psycho Ranger, though, but he's not a real Psycho Ranger, so I guess it works. Looking at some of the accessories, looks like here the Astral Blaster for TJ. There's some inconsistencies. Again, this one actually kind of follows through with Ashley and Carlos, yellow and black, and their Astral Blaster, whereas Andros, for whatever reason, his blaster, this is the one from the disguised version, is the same as his 2-pack version, but the other Rangers get all the same, and you can see the difference in paint apps, right? We actually get silver paint up top here as opposed to the gray plastic, and then right here at the top is still gray, whereas here we get blue, and then the silver is painted on. So it seems like Andros is the only one that actually has the inconsistency to it, which is kind of crazy. But here we have everything, so let's get in for a closer look at these two Rangers and those civilian heads. Okay, so an up-close look at Silver. He looks fantastic. One thing about the Silver Psychos, or the Psycho Rangers in general, the heads are really low. As you can see, they're kind of brushing up against the collar piece. Now, most of the Psychos actually have a white collar, whereas the black Psycho actually has the gold, and then Silver also has the gold. So that's something that kind of differentiates all the Psycho Rangers. But other than that, they really kind of go with the same exact paint scheme and things like that. So like here is green next to Psycho. It's basically all the same, you know, instead of whatever the color is, that's the color that you kind of get thrown on in there. And again, I'll show all the Psycho Rangers together, but I like the way the silver looks. It might be my favorite look for them all, because I think silver just looks fantastic on top of the black. I really like it. I've always really loved the texture of the suit that they gave him. Just looks really nice. It has a real like leathery look to it. And I really like that. But enough of Psycho Silver. Let's pop the Zhane head on here and see how that looks. And I think it looks pretty good actually. If I can get it on there, that's a tight fit. So here we have it, and the head actually looks pretty large on there, probably bigger than it should, because if you look at the helmet, there's no way that big ass head would fit in that helmet. So the scale for these for the civilian heads really seems to be off for the Rangers. I don't ever display with the civilian head, so I guess it's okay, but they should do better. But the Zhane head looks pretty good. Not the best likeness. I think the one that's going to come in the Silver Ranger, I think is actually going to have the better head sculpt. But this looks okay. If that's what you want to do. You know, at that moment when he revealed himself, he did, you know, take his helmet off and then he held it. So you can kind of recreate that if you have all the Rangers in the background. That'd be a pretty cool thing to do. So enough of Zhane and Psycho Silver. Look at TJ here, in Space Blue Ranger. He was the Turbo Red Ranger. So looking there. Each helmet is slightly different. I was looking, I'm like, is his helmet actually the same as Andros? And it's not, because if you look at where the visor, the black and the white meet, it's kind of opposite, right? So you get inverted slash type design in there. But he looks pretty good. He's pretty consistent with the other Rangers. I don't really see anything going on with it. So it's essentially something we've seen before, just blue in color. But it works. That's how it works with these Rangers. I don't mind it at all. I mean, that's the way I guess it would be, right? They all wear the same exact costume or uniforms, so it makes sense. But the paint apps look pretty good on mine. If anything, I see a little bit of blue fading through there all over the white. But other than that, came out pretty clean. Can't really complain there. The same with the squares. They look good. But no issues going throughout. But let's see the TJ head. And maybe you guys could see what I see, that it doesn't really look like TJ. You guys let me know what you think. Do you think that looks like TJ? I can see it. Like if I do that angle, I probably see it a lot more. But straight on, I just don't really see it. Side view, I definitely don't see it there. If I kind of do a little angled a little bit, I don't know. It's just, it's iffy. You know, if once Hasbro gets to Turbo, if they ever get to Turbo, hopefully we get a better TJ head sculpt. But I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I think, you know, some angles it looks pretty good. Like there, I think is where I really see TJ, but just straight on, something about it, I don't really see it. But you guys let me know down in the comments below what you think. I want to get to the accessories. So here we have TJ's weapon. Some dull gray plastic. We get a little bit of gold in there, blue, black for the hilt, things like that. That looks pretty good. There we get this blast effect, which we've seen over and over and multiple times. So I'm not sure how we would get silver. You can actually put it right at the end of Psycho Silver's blade, and here we have his, and this is painted really nice. We get a nice silver paint over it. We get that Psycho Ranger logo there. We see the gradient black and silver that came out looking really nice. A little bit of gold paint up top there. I really like the way this looks. Came out really good, I think. We get this blast effect hand that came with all the Psycho Rangers for Psycho Silver. We also get a fist for his left hand. As you can see there, out of the package he just has both open hands, as you can see there. And then for TJ, aside from the Astral Blaster, which I showed you guys already, we get the different hands. So we have a right fist, and we have this karate chop hand for his left hand, and then out of the package we have two open hands. So let's zoom out for articulation. Okay, so we'll start with the TJ head. He can look down that much, he can look up that much, so surprisingly pretty good because it does sit a little bit higher on that neck peg. When we put the helmeted head on there, we're probably going to look at a whole different story, because look how far down on that neck it goes. So looking down, looking up, full rotation in there, not really a whole lot of pivot. Shoulder, you can get the arm to go out all the way and up, actually elevated quite a bit. Get a full rotation in there. We have a butterfly joint, so you can get the arm to go back really far. Forward only a little bit for the crossbody, but it's really all about that back motion there. You have an upper bicep swivel, double jointed elbow like so. Wrists swivel and they do hinge. We have the diaphragm joint up top, so he could pivot to his left that much. He could pivot to his right that much. Just that diaphragm joint doesn't really go back a whole lot, doesn't really come forward a whole lot, but with that inverted ab crunch, using both of them together, he can crunch forward all that far, he can go back that far, and then we have a swivel at that diaphragm joint, so you get the turn there. Legs go out that far apart, he can kick forward that much there. Doesn't really go back a whole lot. Upper thigh cut in there, double jointed knee like so. Boot swivel at the top of the boot, of course. Foot hinges down all the way. You get a little bit of hinge up, but you have to watch the top of the boot with when it meets the leg there. Ankle pivot, peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So consistent with all the Rangers that we see. Always pretty much going to be the same. Psycho Silver time. So with the Zhane head on there, he can look down that much, which is fair amount. He can look up a little bit. The back of his hair does hit the collar a little bit, but it's not too bad. You get a full rotation in there too. And pop the head off, and we're gonna pop the silver, the Psycho Silver head on there, and it's gonna be a little bit. He actually can look down some. He actually can look up a little bit, but it's really not a whole lot. Rotation in there, tiny bit of pivot. Shoulders, you can get. I'm trying to grab the shoulder, and you got these little spikes right there on the design. That kind of digs into my arm. So I can only get the shoulder to go out that far, unfortunately. That's not a whole lot. You get a full rotation, but watch the shoulder pad in there. There is a butterfly joint, so you can get the butterfly joint to go back actually pretty far. Coming forward is not a whole lot, but then the shoulder pads kind of get in the way. We have an upper bicep swivel in there. You get a double jointed elbow like so. Wrists swivel, and they do hinge. This hand seems to be wanting to pop off. So we have the diaphragm joint. It's really hidden by the shoulder pad, so he could pivot to his left that much. He could pivot to his right that much. Going back, he can actually go back with just that diaphragm joint a little bit. Coming forward isn't really a whole lot, but with the inverted ab crunch, we're getting him to go to crouch down almost all the way. Going back is quite a lot there, and you get a swivel at that diaphragm joint there. Legs go out that far apart. He can kick forward only that much, so not a whole lot. It does go back a little bit. You have an upper thigh cut in there, double jointed knee like so. Let's see, is there a boot swivel? There is a little bit of a boot swivel in there, yes. Foot hinges all the way down. A little bit of hinge up, ankle pivot, peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So there we go for the Psycho Rangers. I've only ever reviewed the green Psycho Ranger. I never did review that 5-pack. I think I had work or something. I was gone for a couple of weeks, so then I couldn't get around to it, and I just never did because a bunch of other figures and stuff came out. But pretty good articulation. Okay, so here is our Power Rangers in space team so far. So we're still missing Pink. She's part of Wave 10. Wave 10 has seen individual figure releases from GameStop, but Cassie has not been released yet. And I think she was expected around mid-November, according to GameStop. So I don't have any of Wave 10. I wish I did, but I don't have them yet, and I can't wait for Pink Ranger Cassie to come out because that will really complete the team. Silver being the 6th Ranger, you know, he's not the core Ranger, but once he comes in, it'll be nice to also have the full team with all the Rangers in it. So I can't wait for that. So In Space seems to be a nice little focus for Hasbro to complete, which is awesome because it's such a good season. So we have the Amazon exclusive 2-pack of what's her name, Astronema. I have her right here in front of my hand too, which is crazy. So we're getting another Astronema figure. She had a bunch of different hairstyles and stuff from that season, so I guess it kind of makes sense. It sucks to get another one, but I do think the new one's going to be better. But Ecliptor is going to be awesome. We know from leaks that there is a red Ecliptor figure coming, so lots of In Space coming, and I would hope that we would get a Dark Honda. That would be awesome. And then I forget the name, but when Dark Honda and Ecliptor merge together, I'd love to get that figure. Don't know if we'll get to that, but again, Hasbro does seem to be putting some priority and giving some love to In Space. I mean, we even got this Andros in Disguise, which I did review last night. It was late. I was tired, and the figure confused me. He wasn't from that Lost Galaxy episode. He wasn't from the first episode. He was actually from an episode called Flashes of Dark Honda, where he was in a bar talking to Dark Honda, trying to make a deal. and he was wearing this outfit, so it actually has the symbol on the suit and everything like that. So that's where that figure was actually from, not the first episode like I had originally thought and figured this figure was all inaccurate. It is technically accurate. The liberty that Hasbro took was using the helmet from the In Space guys and painting it all black. In the show, he had like a cloth covering his face that was black. You could clearly see that it wasn't just like a black helmet. It was basically like a cloth that was covering his face. But it's still pretty cool. I actually do like the figure a little bit more, knowing that it is actually accurate to it. It's still not a figure that was necessary by any means. Should have been in like a 2-pack, a battle pack, right, with Dark Honda if they were going to do this. That would have been a little bit more epic, but as it is, you know, that's what we got, so that is cool. So there is all the In Space figures so far. And then let's see all the Psychos together. Okay, and here are all the Psycho Rangers together. One thing, because I just took out blue and pink for the first time today, is my pink Ranger, like the hinge on the ankle is all kinds of jacked up, and I am not going to work that, and I think that's probably going to break. So while I'm at it, if anybody has just a pink Psycho Ranger figure for sale, please let me know, because that's not gonna, I cannot hinge that up at all, and it's probably just gonna completely crack and fall apart. So that kind of sucks. I know it's been a year. I should have opened and taken her out like a long time ago. I wish I would have reviewed it then. But anyway, here are all the Psycho Rangers together, and they look fantastic. Green, again, technically not part of the team, so you can kind of block him out of sight. One thing, when I was looking back at the Psycho Silver episode, one thing that Psycho Black, kind of like Carlos, had that extra white circle around the black part of the helmet. Here on this kind of triangle, this diamond triangle shape on top of the helmet, Black should have had a little outline in there too, and it didn't. So that kind of sucks. You know, when you have the darker colors, they need a little something extra kind of help differentiate. And, you know, with Silver getting the gold and they just fall apart, you know, it would have been nice if Black would have gotten that same treatment. Unfortunately, he did not. But we'll see what's going to happen in the future. I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if Psycho Pink gets another release, because she did some damage in Lost Galaxy. Ooh. So maybe a Lost Galaxy Pink versus a Psycho Pink. You know what? Maybe I'll wait on the Psycho Ranger, because I would not doubt if they do a 2-pack of Lost Galaxy Pink and Psycho Pink. But here are all the Psycho Rangers, and they all look pretty good. One thing I did notice also is these gauntlet pieces. You'll see where Silver gets the paint there on the gauntlet pieces. The other Psychos have it on the other portion. So I'm going to go back and look at the episode and see if that's something that's specific to Psycho Silver, since he wasn't a real Ranger. You know, maybe when making that costume, that's something that they just kind of messed up, Zhane himself or the Rangers. Who knows? It's just a little bit of an interesting detail that differentiates him with all the others. But I really like the way the colors look, and it's nice to have complete teams, you know, especially if there's a box set at one go. But it's nice to have them all now. So looking at the two gauntlet pieces, with Silver's being on top, whereas the others are on the bottom there. So I went back and watched the episode. So the Silver Psycho is actually incorrect. So this arm should be over here. This arm should be here. So those four arms are swapped, because those are molded in and then painted over. So that's how you get that shape. So that kind of sucks. I don't know if that's just mine now or if that's going to be with others. I need to go back and look at images. I need to see about Toku Topics, the one that I sent him, if his are the other way around or not. But that kind of sucks. I thought it was kind of a cool detail if it was something to kind of help differentiate and be like, yo, he's an imposter, right? An imposter among us. But no, it's just wrong. So that kind of sucks. Okay, and there's my review of the 2-pack. I think it's a solid 2-pack, one that actually really makes sense based on that episode with being 5 of kind all turning into Blue Rangers, and then Psycho Silver coming in to kind of save the day and trick the other Psycho Rangers. This completes all of the Psycho Rangers at this point. In Space is getting closer and closer and closer, and we are almost there, so I am excited. You guys let me know down in the comments below what you thought of Power Rangers In Space, what you think of the TJ figure, the In Space Blue, and the Zhane Psycho Silver. How do you have all of the Psycho Rangers together? I know Amazon, it was in and out of stock during that time and everything, but I think it's a solid set, and I'm happy to have Psycho Silver Zhane in here now. But you guys let me know, again, down in the comments below your thoughts. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.